Good evening, Tiger fans. Thanks for joining us this week on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Tiger football to discuss this week's win over Point University. The Tigers go down to Valley, Alabama, a 51-33 victory for Campbellsville. Coach, definitely passed the test in weather conditions that were a little tough for you guys, and on the road, always a difficult task. But you guys were up to it.
Yeah, I thought our guys stepped up and really competed well. We were concerned with the heat index. Going down the south, we've had such mild off and on weather, this fall for camp. And, we're concerned about that. You're concerned about traveling for the first time, having to stay at the hotel. So how will the guys come out ready to play? And I thought our guys answered the call really well. They came out and competed and fought through the adversity of the heat and so forth and came away with a big win.
You talked about the adversity of maybe the weather and the heat. Earlier in the week, you and I had talked a little bit about it, and more of a rain issue coming off some of the remnants of Hurricane Harvey, and fortunately that moved out. You didn't have that sloppy, messy field to contend with, and then it kind of turned into a little, hot, sticky kind of day, and a different thing for your club after that mild camp that you mentioned.
Yeah, no doubt. We were concerned about the field conditions because it's one of the few places where we will actually play on a natural surface, and the field was great. I mean, it was a little thick, but it was not choppy at all. But the heat came out, the haze. But to be honest with you, as we was talking earlier, I think it hurt them more than it hurt us. I thought our guys fought through it well. We were in good condition, and we really didn't have any guys going down with the heat. We were tired, obviously, but we didn't have guys cramping during the game and going down with the heat. And I thought our guys fought through it really well.
We'll take a look at some of the numbers from that ball game against Point University. The Tigers winning 51-33, the final score. And Coach, again, Hunter Brown with a big afternoon, 380 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns for Hunter Brown. He had a big day. You also had some other playmakers with big days. Keanu Young, a big afternoon. He had 7 rushes, 8 receptions, so 15 total touches, puts up close to 100 yards, a couple of rushing touchdowns. Kendon Young and Zarek Willis combined for a monster afternoon, 12 total grabs, 178 yards, 5 touchdowns between those guys. And then turnovers, 4 for Point, you guys with 1, and that's kind of quirky on that fumble. They picked it up, and then you guys got it right back on a weird kind of play. Really, if you take that out, it was 3-0. You pitched a shutout in the turnover category.
Yeah, I thought those guys really stepped up and played really good. I think Hunter Brown's had 10 300-plus yard passing games in his career, which is phenomenal. Keanu, anytime he can touch the ball, there's a chance that we could, get a first down or score, and whether that's running or passing. He's a dual threat when it comes to that running or receiving the ball, I should say. And, Kendon and Zarek are continuing to step up and play well. Zarek, I think, had 3 touchdowns. Kendon's had 5 in 2 games. I thought Jordan Duff had a nice game, some big catches, but also a nice punt return. And then, those takeaways were huge. We had 3 takeaways defensively, and then we had the fumble takeaway that we got, that actually gave us a first down, and we was able to punch it in and score from there. So I thought we played a pretty clean game when it comes to that stuff. Even penalty-wise, defense had 1 penalty. I think offense had 2 penalties. Kicking game has 6, though, so that's something that we have to take care of. But, anytime you in a game and your offense and defense has 1 and 2 penalties, then you're playing pretty clean football. So I was excited about our effort Saturday and going on the road against what I think is a good, talented football team and getting a road victory.
And we talked about some of those receivers, of course, Kendon and Keanu, the Youngs, the Cousins, and then Zarek Willis. Some other guys also stepped up, Coach, in there. Braden Russell, Jordan Brown in his first action of the season. They had some big timely catches, and that leads to this. Hunter Brown wins his 2nd Mid-South Conference Player of the Week honor of this season, 2 in a row now for Hunter. He's thrown for 380 yards in both contests, 8 total touchdowns, I think, on the season for Hunter Brown. He also earned the NCCAA Offensive Player of the Week. Marcus McCants, his teammate, a couple interceptions this week, earned defensive honors in the NCCAA. So that national recognition for the Tigers continues to happen weekly, it seems.
Right, and those guys are very deserving. It's awesome that those guys are getting that recognition. Hunter, back-to-back weeks, and I think he'll win some more as we go through the season. I think some of those other guys could get in there also. And then defensively, with Marcus getting the NCCAA, that's 2 weeks in a row. We've had a guy getting both of those awards, offense and defense, in the NCCAA. That national recognition goes a long way with recruiting and branding of your program. And it puts you also on the national radar when it comes to ratings and so forth, because when you have guys winning those awards, then those raters are looking to see what those teams are all about. And being 2-0, and the ratings are getting ready to come out here in a couple of weeks, our guys have to be in the picture right now.
And Coach, before we exit this first segment, we do want to mention the fact here as we record this Wednesday evening that there is a possibility that this game could be moved with Warner. And so we want to touch on this a couple of times throughout the broadcast. Hurricane Irma coming through the Florida area here in the coming days. Warner has reached out. Maybe they want to play this a little earlier, perhaps Thursday, perhaps Friday. So we want Tiger fans to stay tuned in so they understand what's going on there.
Yeah, just pay attention to the media outlets and our releases from the university and see what's going on. Nothing's definite as of right now. Right now, we know the game is played Saturday, but there's a possibility with the hurricane coming through that we may have to adjust the kickoff day and time. So we'll just have to look at that as we go.
Absolutely. Coach Thomas and the Tigers slated to take the field Saturday afternoon for a noon kickoff with Warner University. We'll come back after this break and we'll take a look at the highlights of that win over Point University as the Tigers were victorious 51-33. Stay tuned to the Perry Thomas Show.
My name is James C. Miller III, and I started to work at Taylor County Bank on July 1st, 1960. The bank was started because during the crash, the banks here failed, or at least one of them did. So there was a need for an additional bank in Taylor County. But the thing about our bank is this, that we had an old slogan back then. First in service, first in safety, first in convenience, and that's what we've always tried to do, and I think we still do.
Campbellsville Baptist Church, a church where all ages grow in the love of God. From children and youth worship to sports ministry and mission outreach, Campbellsville Baptist Church shares the love of God both in and outside of the sanctuary. Join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9 and small group Bible study at 10:30. That's Campbellsville Baptist Church, the people of God sharing God's love because God's love changes the world.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you on the Campbellsville University Sports Network as we visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football. The Tigers moving to 2-0 after this past weekend's matchup with Point University. Coach, a new member to the Mid-South Conference based on that large, Sun Conference and the merger and different things, and a team that you're not really all that familiar with. They're a young program, 5 or 6 years under their belt playing football. So to go on the road, Valley, Alabama, pick up that win, but the most important thing, it moves you to 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, huge, a lot better than being 0-2. And, once again, like you said, it's a lot of new faces in the league, and Point went to the playoffs a couple years ago, so we had some familiarity with them, but not a lot. And being able to go down there and play, they're a very talented team. They have a good base right there where they're located in Georgia, Alabama line, so they got a lot of really good players to choose from to build their program. So we knew that it would be a battle. We knew it would be a dogfight. I thought our guys handled it well, though, and really at no point did we feel threatened in the game. I thought our guys went down there and took care of their business.
As we take a look at those highlights, Jordan Alves from the Sports Information Department down doing a terrific job as always. Come away with some of these highlights, Coach, and we'll pick these up. And the scoring has already started. There's been some excitement in the game here, but that first highlight we see Elmer Barron coming off the edge, and he's a guy that can really get after the quarterback.
Yeah, he had 2 sacks the other day, and that was great to see. It's something we've been fighting to get from him for the last couple of years, and he was able to come up and make a big sack. We threw our little screen shuttles in there and mixed it up a little different, threw it to a receiver that time, and then come down with the big pass. I thought that was a touchdown, by Jordan Duff, and they didn't give it to us, but once again, I thought all those receivers made some big catches for us throughout the game.
And I think right after that may have been that whole fumble deal, Coach. I could be wrong on that, my timing, but able to come back and get a touchdown. Kendon Young picks up another touchdown, and that's something that he has shown that he has a knack for, scoring the ball.
Touchdown Kendon 5 in 2 games. And, they're once again throwing to the back out of the backfield really helps us a great deal when you got backs that can run and catch the ball. And it was good to see Bradley getting there and kick a field goal through after going 0-2 in the first game, so maybe we can get his confidence rolling. And we can attempt a few more of those if needed to.
In Campbellsville, the scoring early, this point team, however, Coach, they just wouldn't go away. You mentioned that you never really felt threatened, but it was just enough of kind of uneasiness perhaps. Elmer Barron again getting after the quarterback Ballard there from behind, and I made the comment on the broadcast, Elmer Barron not a guy you want to see chasing you from the backside at any point in time. Here the kick to Jordan Duff back deep, and Jordan has shown a knack for returning the ball. He's been able to get free, and some good blocking by that special teams unit.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job right there setting up the wall. He did a good job getting to the wall, and you get nice returns, so now you're in the red zone again. And Point's a good football team. They're very talented, and we made some miscues sometimes with some of our coverages when we put some young guys in. But we had some sacks right there. LeAndre Vassar, is good to have him back in the game. He come up with a big sack, and defensively, I think Point had like 61 yards on the ground against us, and as two teams, we've been able to hold in the 60s rushing the ball, and that bodes well for the defense.
And the special teams, a little helter-skelter at times. They had some big plays, and then they would give up some big plays, but all in all, the Tigers able to come out victorious. And Coach here, Keanu Young on this little
nice block by Trey Bender right there. That was a huge block by the offensive lineman, and that's more his touchdown, I think, than Keanu's. And he's celebrated, and that was a big play right there.
I asked Keanu earlier if he owed Trey a lunch for a dinner perhaps this week after that one helped set him up. And I hate to make comparisons, Coach. I try to stay away from it, but oftentimes at this level, guys sometimes relate better with comparisons. Keanu, when he got on campus, he played his freshman year with a guy named Jared Harrington, and man, week to week, I see more and more similarities, I feel like, between those two guys.
Well, they're similar type players. Jared was probably more of a pure receiver, and Keanu's more of a pure rusher, but, they're both similar type players. They can go get the ball in the air. They can run the ball, run your little jet sweeps and so forth, return if needed to, and very talented guys. Guys that we were able to get because of their height a little bit. If they were a little taller, 3 or 4 inches taller, they'd probably be at a D1 place.
And there's Jordan Brown on the outside. I think Tiger fans should expect to see more and more of him as the year moves along. He can really go get it on the outside.
Yeah, and he's a fast kid, probably one of our faster guys. And as he gets going through the season, we'll see him come up with some big plays. And that we owed them that tip. They got one on us for a touchdown, so we owed them to get one on them tipping the ball like that. And Zarek coming up with a big score. I think Zarek had 3 touchdowns in the game. Big game for him.
And both teams actually had, like you said, Coach, one of those tips right in that same place in the end zone, and that time it goes the Tigers' direction. Kendon Young, a little timing route. That was actually, I think, a 3rd down play, a little timing route, and catches that back shoulder throw. And this was really the ball game here. Ballard trying to make something happen, and Marcus McCants able to come up in front of Chase Turner, the receiver for the Skyhawks, and pick that off, and that kind of sealed the deal for you guys.
Yeah, and it was great to see Marcus get that out. He had 2 interceptions in the game, and what was big about that is last week against U-Pike, their quarterback scrambled and did the similar deal. They picked up a big 1st down. So to get that pick was huge. Then we go down, and Keanu punches it in right there for the score, and we kind of, put it away at that point.
Campbellsville again victorious over Point University 51-33, the first ever meeting between the two schools. Well, we picked a good week for Coach Will Snyder to step in after his secondary comes up with those 3 interceptions last week against Point University. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll get the secondary coach's thoughts. Will Snyder here on the Perry Thomas Show.
Grandpa, famous for dropping a line. Lee's, famous for chicken. Fall into a deal this autumn at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Take flavor and value to a whole new level with a cup of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, a side, a biscuit, and a regular drink, all for an amazing price. It's a deal that's easy to fall for. Make fall value season at Lee's with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
Here at Saloma Baptist Church, our mission and ministry extend beyond our walls. We are focused on teaching all ages about the love of Jesus and preparing them for a life of mission. We are committed to serving the local community and the world in the name of Jesus Christ. For more information on service times and mission opportunities, visit our website at salomabaptist.com. We extend a warm welcome to you and your family here at Saloma Baptist Church.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as the Tigers pick up a win over Point University this past week, 51-33. We're joined now by the secondary coach, defensive backs coach, as well as recruiting coordinator Will Snyder. And Coach, fast start for that secondary. We'll get right to it. A couple of big ball games. B.J. Pelt, already a Conference Player of the Week. Marcus McCants, NCCAA Player of the Week. That secondary putting its best foot forward to start the season.
Yeah, we that's one thing that we really focused on is getting better in that back end. You know, I mean, we added some experience. The guys are another year older, which always makes for an exciting time, to be honest with you. And they work hard. All these kids work hard that we have in that secondary group. They come to practice ready to work every day. Joy to coach. You know, they work on their guts and their fundamentals every day, which is something that we really take a lot of pride in this program. You know, when you have coachable kids, it makes your job as a coach that much easier.
And you did. You focused on that this offseason, and we'll talk about those corners. You brought in some junior college guys, B.J. Pelt, Jaquise Davis, J.T. Davis, that you bring in, and they jump right in. And week one, they're starters on the outside. And oftentimes that corner position, that, you know, we refer to it as an island. It's kind of a thankless spot to play, but they've been up to task here early.
Yeah, they have. They both, you know, they've been a nice added piece. You know, and that's something that we really tried to focus on. We knew that we needed some depth there. We needed some guys with some experience, and really, you know, both of them are very savvy players. Do have that junior college experience, which is what we needed, and you know they've come in and been a very welcome addition. You know, I think JT had 3 pass breakups on Saturday against Point. JT had 4, or I'm sorry, BJ had 4 the week before, and then obviously a pick here and a pick in the Point game. So, you know, those 2 things, you know, they make my life a lot less stressful.
And then also the depth now. Mahari Sturgis is involved. We talked about Marcus McCants, Kelvin Perry, others. Trey Webb a little banged up. Hopefully, you know, you guys are getting him back in the lineup. But overall, from a depth standpoint, not just those in the starting lineup, but you can see the talent on the field.
Yes.
Maybe a little more in that improvement.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we expected Mahari to do well, and I mean, I didn't expect him to do this well. You know, and he's done a great job, and he continues to get better. Obviously, it's week 2. You know, we still have a long way to go with the guys that we have. You know, it's always nice to have that depth and that ability to, you know, be able to rotate those guys if they need a blow or something like that. You know, those are the things that we really want to focus on. You know, with Mahari and, you know, and Trey and things like that. Those are great kids to have in your program. Marcus has stepped up now to be a, you know, a second-year guy back there. Has done a great job. Had 2 interceptions against Point. Really has become a leader in that secondary, to be honest with you. Really done a great job buying into what we're trying to do and you know, really causing us to go. You know, and you know, in this league that everyone loves to throw the ball. So if you've got guys around that can cover, it makes things a lot easier. You know, both offensively and defensively, you know, putting yourselves in positions to get off the field on 3rd down, you know, getting good field position for our offense and those types of things. And then capitalizing on turnovers, you know, we got 4 turnovers, you know, from interceptions in 2 games. I mean, that's something that's very, very nice. Now, obviously, we're not satisfied. We're not satisfied with that. You know, we got to continue to clean up things and continue to work hard and put our best foot forward coming throughout this season.
and coaches at small-time college football level, the NAI, have to wear a lot of hats. You wear the recruiting coordinator hat as well. Walk us through now, this is early in the high school season, I guess maybe really starting to identify some guys that you're zeroing in on, but how you balance that weekly schedule with obviously game prep and practice and different things, and also staying on top of those recruits.
It's something that, when you get in this business, that's what you sign up for, and that's something that our guys do a really good job. We get out on Friday nights, go and identify, talent locally, get contact with coaches, and then obviously get the phone numbers for those players and call them. That's something that we really try to focus on, is making that concerted effort. We want those kids here. We want them to be in this Fighting Tiger program, and it's something that, we've got a lot of pride as a staff, from what we do recruiting-wise, and we want to bring in those guys that are going to have the same passion, the same drive that we do to have a successful program,
Coach, we've got about a minute left, and we'll get Coach Perry Thomas's thoughts on this matchup with Warner. But for you and the secondary, what do you see at the Warner Royal offense this week? What are some things you're looking at?
Got to be disciplined. One thing that we really got to continue to get better on is our eye discipline. Not staring in the backfield. We got a very athletic and very mobile quarterback who we can't just jump up whenever he scrambles around and try to go make a tackle. We got to cover our receivers. We've got to make sure that we're staying disciplined on that back end, reading our keys, so that way we're in the right position to make a play. And those are the things. I mean, they're a talented bunch, quarterback, skill receivers, and everything. I mean, they're good size, so we got our work cut out for us. But we're up for the challenge.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach Will Snyder, recruiting coordinator, also defensive backs coach here at Campbellsville University. We'll come back and welcome the head coach back in as we get his thoughts on this matchup with Warner here on the Perry Thomas Show.
You found your calling, now rediscover your heritage during Campbellsville University's 2017 Homecoming Celebration. Reconnect with old friends and be a part of the various events that will take place over Homecoming weekend. Come and experience the history of CU and the vision we have moving forward. October 27th and 28th, Campbellsville University's Homecoming, honoring the past, preparing for the future.
WLCU-TV, a service of Campbellsville University. Comcast Cable Channel 10.
Campbellsville Baptist Church, a church where all ages grow in the love of God. From children and youth worship to sports ministry and mission outreach, Campbellsville Baptist Church shares the love of God both in and outside of the sanctuary. Join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9 and small group Bible study at 10:30. That's Campbellsville Baptist Church, the people of God sharing God's love because God's love changes the world. Campbellsville University Cosmetology teaches beauty inside and out. The cosmetology students at CU receive salon experience while learning in a contemporary environment from faculty who have worked in the industry. With areas of study ranging from hairstyling to salon management, Campbellsville University Cosmetology can help you turn your passion into a profession. Kickstart your cosmetology career today. Visit campbellsville.edu/cosmetology.
Welcome back to the Perry Thomas Show here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we welcome back the head coach of the Fighting Tigers, Perry Thomas, to preview this upcoming week's matchup with Warner University. And Coach, we touched on it a little bit. It's slated for a noon kickoff on Saturday, but stay posted on that. Regardless of when you kick off, you know the opponent, and this is a team that got to be on your P's and Q's. They'll come north and beat us. So, what's the game plan for the Tigers?
Well, it's a difficult game to play in a lot of ways because they've been handled pretty easily by Lindsey Wilson and the University of the Cumberlands. But when you watch them, they're so talented. And I was telling you earlier, they remind me of some of the old Belhaven teams that were just loaded with talent, and at any point they could really turn it on you. So, our guys have to be focused not on their record, but on what they're showing on the field, the talented guys they have on the field. If we do that, then I think we'll come out ready to play and get after them. They're a talented team. Offensively, run similar offenses that we've seen the last couple of weeks, zone, read type stuff, and throw the ball downfield. Very athletic quarterback that will run the football. Defensively, they're going to look a lot like us in a 4-2-5 look, sometime a three-man front, and they have very skilled athletes. So they're going to look very similar to the two teams we faced, athletically, talent-wise, and schematically. And we just have to continue to grind and get better. The big focus early season, because you're really not into conference play yet, is on improving yourself. So there's a ton of things that we have to work on, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on. And then hopefully there'll be enough to take care of the wins as we go.
And you kind of alluded to this, Coach, but sometimes those teams that maybe can't put it all together but have a lot of that talent are as scary, maybe a little more scary than a team that is going to be really good coming in.
There's no doubt. And that's the way this one is. When you're playing someone that you're seeing the execution, you're seeing that talent produce on the field, you know what you're playing against. When you're playing someone that you see a lot of talent and you know they have the skill sets to get it done, but for whatever reason, it could be their opponents or just could be because they're not jailed yet, they're not quite getting it done, those are the scary teams because you don't know if they're going to be Jekyll or Hyde come Saturday. So we're preparing for them to be the best that they can be, but more importantly, being the best that we can be and just get better at those deficiencies that we still have, which are still glaring to us as coaches.
And you've still got some guys banged up this past week, Coach. Obviously, you said Joshua Caldwell a little bit banged up. Mari Sturgis is still nursing an injury. Trey Webb still out for the time being. You do get, however, DeAndre Hollis back in the middle this week.
Yeah, DeAndre helps us a great deal because it gives you another starting linebacker now. And I'm not sure the rotation right now, but with DeAndre, with Darius Moore, and with Justin Manning, we feel like we have three starting inside linebackers there. So if one of them needs to come out or if we just want to rest one, we can. The first two games, we've been very limited on resting those two. And in fact, I think we've rested those guys maybe a couple of plays in last week's game against Point. Other than that, they haven't come out defensively. So now we feel like we don't drop off any with DeAndre back in there. Also gives us another guy in the kicking game. So now we have someone else that can go down and cover kicks and do those type of things, and which gives somebody else a break. So it's exciting to get him back. It was exciting to get Luke Andre Vassar back last week and Jordan Brown in the lineup. Hopefully, Mahari and Joshua are going to be fine. And here pretty soon, hopefully we'll get Therese Boyd back in the lineup, and that'll just add a little more quality depth.
Now, you talk about those rotations. Maybe walk us through that. How does that work for you defensively? Is that something that's predetermined? Is it based on flow of the game? Obviously, the line very deep. Now the linebacking core getting a little more healthy. How does that work for you?
Well, for us, offensively and defensively, we typically don't predetermine our rotation. A lot of programs do. But, our starters are our starters for the most part. If we have a position like the linebacker now with DeAndre, and the defensive front where we really don't drop off a lot, then we'll roll those guys series-wise or as the game flows and how our rhythm is going. Some positions like in the secondary in some spots and offensive line, we don't rotate those guys much at all. When someone's out, typically it's for a reason. But you look at our running backs, Wade and Chance, they kind of go by plays and they kind of go by series. Same thing with our defensive line. So we base it on the position and the guys that we have in there and the quality of the depth at that position.
Well, before we let you go, Coach, again, we do want to remind everyone that this weekend's game against Warner University is slated for a noon kickoff on Saturday. The Tiger Tailgate Show will begin at 11:30 Eastern Time. However, we do want to mention with Hurricane Irma coming through Florida and different things in the coming days, there is a possibility for that game to be moved. So make sure CampbellsvilleTigers.com and other places to get your news on that. Any time frame on a decision? I guess we need to know pretty quick.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll know pretty quick. That's above my pay grade, but they'll let us know. And as it comes out, of course, we'll get on Twitter and figure things out and on the website and so forth. So it'll be on all the media outlets, and it'll be easy for people to find out if an adjustment is made. But the game will be played, and we're excited to get back on the field and come back home.
The Warner Royals come to Tiger Town this week, Saturday, the slated time. Be sure to stay tuned to CampbellsvilleTigers.com and other media outlets for updates on the game. Thanks to Will Snyder for joining us. Also, the head coach, Perry Thomas. That's it for this week on The Perry Thomas Show.